Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the 89 Garage. We're dealing with 2011 Escape today. What we're doing today, I think, should apply from 01 all the way until 2012. I think that's the last year of the second gen. They use the same struts, same front suspension. There's a little better brakes on the newer ones, but we're not going to get too far into that because that's not part of this episode. Alright, I got these ones here from the Amazon. They're made by AutoShack. Never tried them before on an Escape. However, pretty sure this is the brand that I installed on an Explorer a few months back, and it has been pretty decent so far. So I figured, what the heck, I actually bought these like clear back in like February, and it's July 12th, I believe. Let's go ahead and knock this out real quick. Kind of not the best place for this jack, but as far as the cement's concerned, so I'm not here to tell you how to jack up your vehicle. However, I have some jack stand mafia followers that sometimes try to tell me I don't have a jack stand in there, but there's one right there, as well as the jack. All right, 19, which pays a very close resemblance to the 3/4 sockets. If you decide you also need brakes when you're doing this, I do have a video on that. I'll post a link up above. These are very simple to do brakes on. Save yourself some money and do it yourself. So there's a little dirt up here from a little four-wheeling excursion me and my wife had, I don't know, in March. There's enough room for this whole suspension to drop without removing anything except the ABS sensors, and also we need to remove this brake line. But I'm going to control the drop with another jack here in a second. But I'm going to go get some tools that I know we're going to need. Looks like a 15 here, a 10 there, something to pull this clip out with, and then these here are 18s. Let me go grab some tools. Alright, I'm going to start with pulling this guy here out. These just pull straight out. Sometimes I get a flathead pull straight out on that, and it'll work, but that looks like it'll do the trick. So after you've done that, you got to pull this down and out like this. Zip this off right here, our sensor. I usually place this back in that hole if I'm doing some other type of work, but for this one here, that is part of the strut, so that needs to get removed too. I'm tempted, and I think I will, to just remove the sensor right there, because I just want it out of the way. I can pull that out right there and just kind of rope that off to the side. Need an 8mm to do that. That sensor is right here. So you pull that bolt out and just, usually you can just kind of wiggle. Sometimes you need a little screwdriver to persuade it. Come on. You got some rust in there you have to deal with. And then I just usually park this right in here. And it's probably going to stay out of the way just fine. Is it a 15? I'm pretty sure it is. Okay, let's get this going in the right direction. But this here is our end link for the sway bar. Ford was very nice and gave us a way to hold on to the center while we take the nut off. So what we have is a 5mm Allen wrench right in the middle and a 15 nut. Okay. I'm just going to set that off the side. Okay, we have 6 nuts to take off now, and then we're out of here. So I'm going to go get an 18-inch socket. I'm going to zip those off with my impact. I have a new impact that I'm going to try. I'm going to add this to that video if, you know, we'll see. It's a Temu purchase. Okay, the reason that I'm going with this thing is it's a shorty. It's not just a skosh longer than my 1/4-inch impacts. Let's see. But I need to get me an 18 for that other side, damn it. All right. Get on there, filler. Well, that's across the street now. Ooh, we might need us a Wobbleooski. That is actually a jackhammer you're hearing in the background. Okay, we're just going to hit these out with a hammer. And actually, before I get this all the way out, what the hell, these ones aren't spawning. I'm just going to zip this the rest of the way out, and then we're gonna I'm gonna get a jack and support the bottom of this, so I'll get that in the picture here, and all I'm gonna do is just set it right underneath it, right where it's at. Supported now. I can hit this out and not feel bad about it. Well, I guess I'll use this again. Come on, baby. There we go. Okay. I'm a little bit goofy, so I always just twist these back on here. Okay. Now we just need to kind of pop that filler out. I'll let that just kind of sit like that. I don't want it to come out this way because we don't want the, if you look back in there, you can see the CV joint. That can actually pop out of the joint itself. So I'm going to do my best to leave that right there. In fact, for the giggles of all things, this so it somewhat stays. One thing that I like to do right here is, just in case when you're dropping this down, you do have to have some kind of support on this, whether that's your hand or you put something else under here. It's heavy. One thing that I like to do is I usually put a rag down here so it doesn't drop down on. Let me just show you what I mean. I don't want it to drop down and do something with that boot, so I usually just stick a rag right there. So I'm gonna go grab a rag and we'll place that right there, and then get up on top and zip out the 4 nuts that we need to remove. Yeah, an old shirt will do the trick too, won't it? I don't plan on anything happening there, but just in case. All right, so it's a little difficult to see that, but there is 4 nuts right here. Fairly certain those are 15s. So I'm gonna go get a 15 real quick. You can pretty much zip 3 out really good. You'll be just fine. Now, on this one here, we're gonna be up here with the impact. Then I'm gonna be holding it down here, down below. I don't have another camera to show you, but just know I'm holding onto the strut. Okay. Let that sit right there. I'll drag you guys back down here. All right, what we're gonna do then is that. Let it just fall between and there. Oh, for Pete's sake. Should have had you guys on the 0.5. Sorry about that. Basically, it fell into this little area right there, and then we maneuvered it out. And there it is. One thing that I can't stress enough to you guys is, if you do not want a butt pucker moment, then buy these with the spring already on them. I have done these before where you got to take it out right here and do the spring all together. This is by far, it's what, $20 more maybe for the struts with the spring on it. It just makes so much more sense to just do it right and not get yourself hit in the face or in the nuts or something like that with a spring. Okay, let's just show you that there is a difference between each side. The ABS sensor mount and the sway bar mount is different on each one. It's the opposite. So this one here is the one we need, since, you know, it matches. Okay, I'm just gonna bring that thing up through here and we're gonna put some nuts on it. I usually reuse the factory nuts. Some people may disagree with that, but I always do. I just find that they're better quality, so that's what I use. Let me show you. Hopefully you can see that. There is a little spot right here that says out, and obviously that's telling us that goes to the outer side of the car. Just wiggling this in the same way that I got it out through that little spot. Just get one in each corner here. Then I'll let go. Okay, we're good. Oops. I'm just going to zip these on just a skosh. We'll come back in and hit it with an torque wrench in a bit. Okay, let's go ahead and get this out of there. Push that back there. Just maneuver that there. You may need to use your jack to help out here. Looks like we're about right on where I need it. Okay. Alright, before we get too dang tight, let's get this roped in here. Need to go up again. I'm very fortunate to have two jacks to do this. Good. All right. Now I feel like we can zip this back on. I've had it before. I got to bend this outwards to make this work, and I think I'm going to, again, where did those go? I don't know why, but this is just a skosh different than the factory. So sometimes I just bend that right so. And this stuff will line up easier for you too. There's a notch on both sides of this because the front uses the same lines on both sides. And I actually have a video that I'll be doing very shortly here showing how to do that on a different Escape. I usually get it started and then just use these here to pull it the rest of the way on. There we go. Okay, now let's go ahead and zip this on. Great, perfect. All right, so we got that there. We got this 10. Okay. I'm gonna get something and try to clean that up just a little bit. Wire brush or something. See if we can't get that in there a little bit better. Let's see if this puppy goes in any better than it did. That went in easier than it came out. That's what we're going for. We just need a light tighten on this. Like that. That's good. Now we just got to torque some stuff down, and this side's done. Okay, these top ones, we need to torque them between 30 and 35. So I will set this to 35. Alright. Okay, we're just going to do zigzag, zigzag. Actually, I did it wrong, but we're just making an X basically. Alright, these ones here torque to 85 foot-pounds is what we're going to put them at. Did I even set this? Yes, I did. I'm not going to take that all the way until I've got this tighter down here. Oh my goodness. Okay, that one. Oh man. 85 is a little bit tighter than I was expecting. Jeez. There we go. Part of when you know that your struts need to be looked at is if you run your hand across this outer edge here and you feel what's called feathering. Basically this patch right here is taller than the back side of this one, and that comes from bouncing going down the road. This one is very minimal. Alright, I jacked this side up off camera. I also made a little tent, or a little, I don't know, for us with garbage cans with the lids open behind me. I don't know if you can see that okay, but yeah, kind of hokey, but it works. Yeah, so when that piece of crap aluminum thing on the outside there goes away, an 18 will work. Oh my goodness, this one here has more evidence of the four-wheeling adventures. Alright, I'm going to start by zipping this. We'll still clean that out a skosh. drape this up here. That's sitting there. Okay. Okay, now let's go ahead and take that off. Okay, we'll hold it with this. Now we got it moving. Alright, let's check out this Timu action again. Alright. Seems to... It says it has 600 foot-pounds of torque, which I'm going to go ahead and say no. But light-duty stuff, it ain't too bad. Because if you remember from the other side, these are only torqued to 85 foot-pounds, so, and it does struggle just a skosh. Slide this over this way a skosh. Where did my bungee go? We're just going to wrap this up here. Keep this thing from again, we're doing that just to keep that joint from pulling out. So 15 right here. Okay, again, there's the last one. I'm supporting this from the bottom. And I'm just going to let it sit. All right. All right, so what I do is just kind of turn this thing down that way. Man, this thing's filthy. Go down in that little crevice so you can clear the fender, and it should come right out. All right, we need to again. I mean, you can tell by lining up where you need the sway bar mount and the ABS sensor mount, but this does tell us that this goes out. So just kind of a little easy thing when you got it down here. Okay. Let me show you up in here now. I hope that's getting that okay. I can't really tell, but we need to kind of maneuver this here. Oops. So it goes up here. obviously retorque those later. Back down here. Let's see if we need to. I basically did this side without that other jack, and it seemed to turn out okay. Maybe we can get away with not having it, putting it back together either, but we'll see. I doubt it. There we go. Oh, maybe it will. So with the alignment, there is a slight amount of play, just like that you can have adjustment with, but there's not a whole bunch. I'm going to do myself a favor right now and just kind of bend this outwards. You don't need to do that if you don't want to. I just find it a little easier to put this thing back together. Okay. This out of here. I'm going to stick this under here. Come in there. That goes there. Now, since this 8's already on my impact, I'll go ahead and just stick this back in first. Just make sure we're not all twisted up, and we're not. Okay. This here's where we might need to get our red jack. About there. Does that look good to you? That's pretty decent. That'll work. Okay, get this one here down at the bottom now. Oh, what the hell? Okay. Alright, we're done down here. Let's do them ones up top. Again, we're going to do this in a cross pattern. This filler. Back to this one. Basically, it's just how I torque 4-lug wheels. I'm gonna put the wheel back on. I don't think you guys need to see that. Then we'll go for a little ride. Okay, I'm gonna take this for a drive, get my impressions of these struts. My sister's got her Bronco parked right here too, so navigate around that. Slightly right, but the road slopes that way. It's not pulling. A little bit quieter too. There was an ever so slight clunk, not much. But usually when these clunk, it's sway bar. But usually when these things clunk though, it needs end links. And I think we did figure out that those end links are a little bit floppy. So I'm gonna order some and we'll do those on a future video. So this video is not sponsored by anybody but me. And I would really appreciate it if you would hit the old like button and then also subscribe. Get me in the algorithm so I can help out other Escape owners. I have several Escape videos now. I have lost count at what I'm at, but these things are all over on the road. They're great vehicles. Let's keep them going on the road. Nobody can afford a new vehicle. Anyway,